Welcome back to Slothbox. This channel is proudly sponsored by Lionpool Security Services and the Excelsior Sporting Club. This is James Lutton. I'm delighted to be joined today with Jonathan, trainer of Gennady Golovkin. I wanted you to come on just to get an instant reaction, really. Chris Eubank Jr. beat Liam Smith, and his instant call-out was Gennady. He says Golovkin is the only fight that he wants next. What's your response to that?
I don't have a response to it. I mean, it doesn't mean nothing to me. I mean, is it a big fight in the UK? I'm sure. Is it a big fight anywhere in the world? No. G's a bigger star than Eubank. So, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't mean anything. You know, a lot of people have speculated why haven't they fought in the past. Me personally, I like Eubank as a fighter. I think he's a good fighter, but there's nothing in his career that he have done that would make me think that G is maybe is afraid or he's avoiding him. Absolutely anything. So, I know those rumors I heard. I don't understand how that got there. But to answer your question once again, what do I think about him calling him out? I don't think anything of it. I mean, I think that's what guys just do in the sport when they want to get a big payday.
Absolutely. I mean, you mentioned there he doesn't really bring anything to the table for your team in Golovkin. He doesn't, aside from if the fight was to be in the UK and potentially how many zeros on the end of that number on the contract, he doesn't bring much else, does he? Am I right in thinking that's your perspective on that?
I mean, that's what it is. That's even, we generalizing the whole, like when you got a guy like Triple G, he brings a lot to the table. You know, he put in so much work, and the amateurs and the pros, he have solidified himself as bringing a lot to the table as far as the amount of fans he have, the spectators, everything. So with all that bringing to the table versus minimum. To me, it don't look like, it don't sound like anything's worth it. I know the biggest thing in boxing is to say someone's scared. To say, oh, he's avoiding him because he's afraid this and that. I mean, if you could look at a guy like Triple G and look at his career and think he's afraid of anybody, then you clearly don't know what you're talking about.
In terms of Chris calling him out, I mean, Golovkin is now, what, 41 years of age, I believe. Do you think that potentially Eubank and his team think they're going to catch Gennady on the way out, on his way down?
I don't. I just think they want a big fight. I just think they're trying to cash in. That's how I see it. The things they're trying to cash in. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. If you look at it on that perspective, then you gotta look at both sides. Is Eubank on his way up? Is Eubank trying to rebuild himself or trying to build himself? Have Eubank made mistakes in the past where it cost them, and now he's coming back trying to be serious, having big fights? So you could look at it on both sides in that manner. I think me personally, as a boxing fan, I like the kid. I think Eubank's a good fighter. I have nothing negative to say about him. I think he's a good fighter. But on the perspective as a trainer, I mean, and looking at the whole view of boxing, I think Eubank, from the looks of it, he needs a big fight. So that's what I see. I think it's a strategy for him to get a big fight.
You say you like Eubank, you think he's a good fighter. Hypothetically speaking, if they were to fight with Golovkin, how would you train Golovkin to fight Eubank? What would you say are his strengths?
Whose strength?
Eubank's, excuse me.
I think his strength and his weakness is one and the same. If we are strictly talking about if mentally, if G going up against Eubank, we're strictly in a scenario basis. What will I say? His with Eubank, his strength or his weakness, his courage and his willingness to trade. Those are his strengths, and that's definitely will be his weakness against G.
Absolutely, wouldn't be the wisest move against Gennady for sure.
Not at all.
You mentioned obviously it sounds from your end and your perspective of it, there's no interest in the Eubank fight. Like I say, until potentially there's an offer made, then things may change.
I, I
However,
don't. I don't speak for Triple G Promotions or Triple G, but um I mean just being realistic. You know what I'm saying? I'm not speaking for him. He could speak for himself, but just being or someone from his promotion team could speak for them. But as on just me being realistic, that um what could you possibly offer him for him to say, oh, okay, I will fly to the UK because he's the bigger draw no matter where you put him at. I don't care where you put him at. G's the bigger draw. So what can you possibly offer him other than, oh, I'll give you a tough fight? You know, anybody could do that. So that's just me, just looking at it on a realistic level.
you mentioned you feel like Eubank's just trying to cash out. He's trying to look for that big payday. Would it not make more sense for him to look at the Conor Ben fight? After their father's rivalry, Conor is the smaller man. It's, in my opinion, an easier fight than Gennady Golovkin is for Chris Eubank. Is that not more of a more sensible option for Eubank?
But we not talking census. We talking cash. You just said in your beginning of your question, you said cash in. We're talking cash. You can't mix cash and cents. They don't mix. You know what I'm saying? When you're trying to cash in, you can't put cents with it. If you could, most fighters wouldn't have never fought a big fight and made big upsets because the cash looked good, but it kind of didn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? That's been the biggest one of the biggest joys in the sport of boxing is that a fighter took something that didn't make sense and he agreed to fight anyway, and it was a huge upset. That's what people bite their nails for. That's why most people buy tickets. They look for the upset.
And just finally, Jonathan, I won't keep you long today. What is the plans for Gennady? Is there any talks at the moment? Are we looking at any potential dates or anything like that for Gennady?
I haven't talked to him as of lately, so that's unclear. But I'm sure once we talk, I'm sure Triple G Promotions will come out with a statement about what's next for him in the future.
Absolutely. Well, whatever it may be, I wish you both the best of luck. But Jonathan, I appreciate your time as always. Thank you.
Pleasure's mine. Thank you.